Hello, lovelies. Today we're going to be talking about mana curve, what that is, how that affects your mana, how that affects your gameplay, and what to be looking out for and how you should play around it. So today we are going to be looking at the three basic archetypes on how mana curve looks. Aggro, which is typically red, mid-range, which is typically green, blackish kind of stuff, and then blue, which is controlled. Those are generic terms. Obviously it can differ from deck to deck and color to color, but today this is what we're looking at. So what is the mana curve? The mana curve stems from the concept of bell curve, and each one of these are a bit different. So aggro, you're going to want to be on the attack offense from turn 1. You want to be dealing as much damage as possible. So if you're dealing damage on turn 1, you need to play something turn 1. That's why our 1-drops are much higher, and it looks more like, brush, please, looks more like this. It's a downward slope because your peaks are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see there's not really any 5s here. Mid-range takes it one step further, and they want 2 to 3 drops. Turn 2, they want to set up a decent board with mid-level creatures, not big, strong boys, but like mid creatures that can block the small guys, that can get you to survive the mid-range game, and then hit with your generally powerful creatures. So theirs looks more like a bell, because your peak is here, while their peak is turn 1. Control is generally the opposite. It kind of starts at you have to survive until turn 3, and your peak is usually around the 4-drop. And what this all basically means is that this is the meat and potatoes of your deck, so to speak. Your peaks is what you need to play around. Your peaks is what's going to define the wins and the losses. So if you're playing a certain deck with a certain mana curve, for aggro, you need to be playing turn 1. Mid-range, you need to be playing turn 2, 3. Control, you need to be playing 4+. So how does this look in-game? Well, I can show you that too. We will start off with the aggro. I have a future video on mulligans, so we're not going to go too in-depth with mulligans, but mulligan is very important when looking at mana curve, just because it dictates how you peak. So I got 1, 2, 1-drops. This is too slow. I'm going to mulligan. We got Frostbite. We can keep this. We can actually get rid of a Faceless, since we can play all of this minus the Bonecrusher Giant on a Venture from 2 mana. Everything here can be played. Destroy creature. And now we're on the offense. We are swinging from here on out. We are looking for as much damage from here on out as possible. We peaked at 1 with the trade and peaked at 2 with the attacker. Again, we want to be on the beatdown. If we had more mana, we could play this and this, but we don't. Just keep the pressure going. So that's how aggro goes. Very early peak, very strong early game, very, very weak late game. If you're holding out until turn 6, 7, you probably already lost. There's not much you can do. That's just how aggro works. So let's take a look at mid. See, we have a lot more control here in mid, which we can actually use to our advantage. Turn 2, 3, we have it all here. Okay, we are setting up our board for, now we have a blocker. They can't hit us now, because we can block it. See, now we're peaking at turn 3. And now we can start controlling the game a little bit more, and being on the aggressive a little bit more. Because we want that mid-range game. We're going into turn 5, and we should have pretty much everything set up, because we do have enough control here. And this is kind of how mid-range looks. Let's go look at control. So we're going to be looking at this wolf deck. This is a higher, it's kind of like mid-range, but it does have a very high mana curve that you need to set up. So because we're looking to set up later for cards like this, that's 2, 4, 5 mana, we need these 3 drops. And these are the cards that are just going to kind of get us through. So we play 1. Again, we're not peaking yet because we don't have anything to play. We're going to be peaking around turn 4. We're trying to get as much mana as possible to play as much big things as possible. Now we can start pretty much playing whatever we want. Now we're in the control spot. We have control of the board state. We can pretty much do whatever we want now. And this is pretty much how we're in the driver's seat now. They don't have much cards to play. They don't have much to do. We are kind of in the driver's seat here. And that's how that looks. So that's the basis of mana curve, something that you should keep in mind, and how you play each turn, how you want to play around your peaks, how you want to play around dropping cards. You know, aggro, you want to be dropping 1 to 2 drops every single turn. Green, you do want to be dropping 2 to 3 drops every turn. And then control is a bit different depending on what kind of control you're playing. That was a more aggressive with creatures, but it does work like that, and you want to be setting up for those turn 4s. So if you guys have any other questions, please leave a comment down below. I will answer them. Make sure to check me out on all my medias, all my other things. I stream every day. You can always hop in and ask questions there, and I will be posting on MTG subreddits on Reddit. So if you see my post and want to comment for future videos, I would greatly appreciate it. And thanks so much, everyone. Love you all. Bye.